I still believe it's going to rebound, but the stock market, wow, taking off. All right, well, speaking of taking off kind of sort of this week, Joe Biden, former vice president, announced his campaign in an internet video that was underwhelming to most. Then he went on The View, a show you're a little familiar with, talked to the ladies on his apology tour to get it all out in the beginning. Well, the big question was how much would he raise in the first 24 hours? That's a big barometer of viability of candidacy. Well, the numbers are out. In the first 24 hours, Joe Biden did outpace any other former Democrat with 6.3 million. Robert Francis O'Rourke came out with 6.1. He feels like the guy when you're running the mile at school. Like he sprints the first 400 yards and then he runs out of gas. So we'll see where that 6.1 goes in the quarter. Yeah. And Bernie right there at 5.9. To me, listen, he's atop the field fundraising. But if you're the former vice president sitting on the Obama architecture and you barely outraise Bernie Sanders in the first day, I don't think that's a good number for him.
No, I was not impressed, actually.
I got to tell you, this is a great number for Joe Biden because there was a lot of anticipation that people wanted him. And this, of course,
this is all big money.
Complete that. But it is big money
versus Bernie money is little money.
He held his first fundraiser at the home of the guy that runs Comcast lobbying shop, right? I mean, you can't jump deeper into the swamp, if you will.
Sure.
But it does push back on those who are Democrats that want some sensibility to come back. They have no problem with the traditional way of fundraising.
You're saying he's the establishment.
And so
you want Washington.
He is stepping in to be not a sort of novelty candidate, if you will, but a mainstream, anticipate some centralized thing. And his video did exactly what he wanted it to do, which is to go after what he believes is President Trump's big weakness and lowest moment in the aftermath of Charlottesville.
So mischaracterized.
And position himself as the candidate to beat Donald Trump.
Yeah, but see, I think even Joe Biden is looking at that number and he's saying, yeah, I'm in the lead, but Bernie Sanders is right on my tail. I don't think he's comfortable with that number, looking at that. That would be a great number if Bernie Sanders was down at 4 million, maybe. But they're too close for comfort for him, and I think he's very concerned about the voting base, the Democrat voting base really being with Bernie and how he's going to pull it. And remember, it's not just about money. I mean, Hillary Clinton had a lot of money and she didn't win that election. It's not just about money. You really have to have your finger on the pulse of that primary voting base, which I happen to think for Bernie Sanders does quite well.
I agree with you. Jeb Bush sat on a pile of cash, $100 million, and he went, boop.
Yeah.
Like Joe Biden could be headed for that, boop, real quickly.
Guess who is fawning over Joe Biden, though? Surprise to everyone.
Who?
The media. Let's take a listen.
Former Vice President Joe Biden just answered the call millions of Americans have been begging for.
The man who has been a senator, a vice president, and a big fan of aviators.
Finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Biden is already making the president sweat.
I thought that message today was very, very thrilling to me. I thought it was very American. I thought it was great. He is an approachable street corner politician.
That is Joe Biden at his best. That is someone who is authentic.
We pencil you in for January 2021?
If I'm there, yes.
You know, the only thing Joe Biden didn't do on the View is eat Scrapple.
Well, he did not. I love Wolf Blitzer trying to be a man of the people there in mom jeans. Anyway.
Oh, man. I love that, too. Approachable. He's an approachable street corner politician. Joe Biden has that same blue-collar appeal that someone else has, and that person is President Trump. They have a very similar way of talking in a very down-to-earth fashion. Trump never got credit for that. I just love the way they twist. I mean, it's nice to see that, Chris Matthews has a thrill up his leg again, but it's unbelievable. I mean, really, it's so transparent right out of the gate. I think they better be careful, though, because if they decide, they're going to decide early on, the media, who they love and who they're going to support. I'd be very careful about choosing Joe Biden.
Yeah, if you watched the Biden video and got thrilled, or you watched his appearance on The View where he effectively apologized and then stumbled and rambled in his explanation, there was no policy there at all.
Yeah.
I don't know where that thrill comes from. Well, Joe Concha, who watches the media for the rest of us, so we don't have to watch all of it, had this to say about Biden.
The bottom line is that as far as the media putting their finger on the button for Joe Biden, we saw it obviously with Hillary Clinton. It simply doesn't work because half the country does not trust the messenger. It's all white noise. The punditry and the predictions mean nothing to the American people. They'll decide what happens here from debates and a concise message which Biden needs to establish. Besides, Trump is a bad guy.
Bingo. What is his
Bingo.
message? We don't know that yet.
Yeah. What is his policy? What's gonna sway voters and have them say, you know what? Out of all that is this field of about 5 million that are running now, I'm going to go with Joe.
That's an official
Also,
number.
by the way, Joe Concha giving you a run for your money. You see that red, white, and blue tie?
very nice.
I saw that. I caught that.
Envious.
Blue.
Yeah.
Email us at friends@foxnews.com if you think it's going to work for Joe.
Yeah. Is Joe the guy to beat? We would love to hear from you. We're going to turn to some headlines for you now in the 6 a.m. hour.